And hello again, and it's been quite a long time since I last did any videos about my old Guzzi project here. And there's been several reasons for that. The first one was that I made quite a long video about progress and problems and so on before Christmas last year. Had it all edited on my old laptop, and then my laptop failed, lost everything, so lost all that, and really I haven't been bothered to make any more videos since. But I have been doing some work on the bike over the last few months, so I thought I'd catch up with you guys and show you what's been going on. And the main thing I've been working on, as you may see, is the wiring harness. I've drawn up a complete wiring harness to the bike. That's fine, it all seems to hang together quite well. But I did need some new switchgear. And therefore, since I've got a Moto Guzzi M unit on the bike, I also went for Moto Guzzi switches. Makes sense, I guess. And the ones I went for are these micro switch versions here. And that's because I have used these on 2 other bikes. I'm pretty happy with them. And unlike the version with the bigger buttons, these come complete with the wiring pre-installed, which helps a great deal. Because it means you don't have to worry about soldering in these very fine wires, which I had a problem with in the past. So great. Next thing to do then is get these installed on the bars, and that's where I hit a problem. And so I marked off a spot on the clip-ons where the wire needs to pass through the bars, and I started to drill and drill and drill and drill until I realised these bars are solid all the way through. They're not conventional hollow bars as I expected. And that's a problem because it means I can't use that rather expensive switchgear on these bars because the wires have to go through them. They can't go on the outside. Bit of a problem. And so therefore I decided to change these clip-ons to some more conventional clip-ons to suit the 40mm forks. And here they are, along with a new pair of Renthal grips. Now the weird thing is, put that down there, as you can see, it's not 1 pair, but 2 pairs of clip-ons, and there's a reason for that, which is that what I wanted was the silver finished clip-ons, like these here. Let's get them out of the packaging, and because that will suit the bike, and that's fine. The only problem is, I couldn't find any that were 40mm, so I bought these, which are 41mm and don't fit the bike. And that's because I thought, well, no problem, I'll just make a little spacer and it'll be fine. And in fact, in the past, I have made spacers out of Coke cans and that sort of thing, and that works quite well. You just take a Coke can, cut it up, and put a little strip in there, and you're good to go. But then it turned out that one of these, or rather a pair of these, from the UK, for 40mm, mind you, which is what I want, they're like £45. Ridiculous. Whereas I can get some from China for £15. So what I did in the end was I bought 2, both £15 on the same delivery, free delivery through Amazon, so that's not a problem. But as you can see, they're gold, so these are what I want. These are 40mm, these will fit the forks. But what I don't want is this daft gold finish. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out the bars because they bolt in, no great problem. So I'll have silver bars but these weird gold clamps which I don't like. And I'm going to remove the gold anodizing from these clamps. Pretty easy to do, done it before. We just use a solution of caustic soda and water and it'll lift it out, no problem. In fact, I'll do that later on today and we'll film that process. Pretty straightforward. The only thing to watch out for is you can get fumes given off the solution, which is pretty bad for your health, so don't breathe that in, and instead make sure you do that outside or in a well ventilated garage or something like that. Yeah, so that's a bit weird. So once that's done then, I can drill these bars and get the, where's it gone? Get the indicators on the bike, and that'll allow me then to do a lot more work on the wiring and tidy it all up and hopefully check it all out and make sure it's all okay. And once that's done, we can move on to my next problem. And that problem is this seat I made recently. Now it's just propped on here with bits of paint brushes because it's not bolted down yet. But the problem I had was, when I first made it, it was actually a bit longer than this. It came out a lot further out and actually looked a lot better. But I had to cut it down because otherwise I wouldn't have enough clearance above the tyre. Now it actually sits a lot higher than this normally, it sits about there. And it's a bit marginal. But I thought, well, that should be about right. And if not, well, I can always get some slightly longer shocks, not a big issue. These YSS shocks are quite cheap. They're about £140 each, rather, for a pair, and you can actually spec them any length you want. However, the problem I've got is, now I've cut it back, it doesn't look quite right to me. It's too short, it's not quite right at all. And that means, particularly now I've shortened it, it's not a particularly good looking seat, not quite right. You can see there, for me, it's not quite right. Now, I was planning to cover this whole seat in vinyl, in foam and vinyl, a bit like your classic Tritons, but to be honest, I'm not sure. Even though this is the second seat I've made for this bike, the first one being from a Ducati SS900, and even that didn't look right, if you ask me. So I've got a bit of a problem with it, in that I'm just not happy with it, and I don't want to continue with the build if I'm not happy with it. And so I'm now on the lookout for some new bodywork which will match this rather lovely aluminium tank I've got on the bike. I'm also thinking of fitting either a cockpit fairing or a half fairing to the bike. And one reason for that is that this tank kind of dominates the bike at the moment. It's so big, it's wide, it's big, it's long, it holds about 5.5 gallons, it's bright red, and it kind of dominates the bike and kind of unbalances the look of the bike, I think, with whatever seat unit I happen to fit at the end of the day. So I think if I could fit a cockpit fairing, maybe even one from a Le Mans Mark 1, that may well work. And I think that will balance the bike front to back a lot better. One more thing I'm going to do with the bodywork is going to repaint it, or have it repainted. I think this bright red, rather plain paintwork on the tank is too much. It's too bright, and it kind of, one big lump of red, and it's too much. Now it might stay red, but I think I'm going to add some kind of pinstripes or some panels or something like that, just to break up this huge big tank sitting in the middle of the bike. Not sure yet, maybe I'll change the base colour from red to black or to blue, who knows, I just don't know. And when that happens, when I don't know what to do, I tend to just stop. I'm not going to plough on and make a mistake. I'll just stop and wait a week, a month, a year, it doesn't matter, until I do know what I'm going to do with the bike. Yeah, so that's probably why things have stopped for the last few months. And also, of course, I've got 3 or 4 other projects currently ongoing, so it's not as if I'm doing nothing. I've also been trying to find a front mudguard that'll suit this bike, and so far have not managed to find one. And it doesn't help that this bike doesn't have mudguard clamps down on the fork sliders. I have baits actually that bolt on, so that gives me some options. But anyway, for now, I'm just going to continue wiring the bike. I'm going to change these handlebars out. Bit of a pain because I've got to take all this off and take off the top yoke and so on, but needs must. Yeah, and then I've also, I think, going to order a Le Mans Mark 1 front cockpit fairing for this bike, and we'll see how that looks. If it doesn't look right, I just won't use it. It's not really a big problem. They're not too expensive. They're about £40, £50, something like that, from Germany. Yes, that's what's going on with the bike so far. So next then, we'll go indoors, or at least semi-indoors, and we'll remove the anodising from that rather ugly gold clamp. And so to remove this gold anodising, we need to use water and some caustic soda, and that's it. Now, as I say, you need to be in a well-ventilated room here, or ideally outside. I'm doing it inside, but the doors are open, the windows are open, and it's just a small piece, so I'm not too concerned at the moment. Now all I've got to do is to get, it's only a small thing I'm doing, so maybe just a teaspoonful out, maybe something like that, if I can do that. Come on. The spoon's just a bit too big, I think. You know, that's all you need for such a small piece. Got a small dish full of water. Here's the piece here, so we'll just stick that in there, and we'll let it dissolve. Now it's also a bit of a question mark as to how much you put in. This is cold water rather than hot water. Obviously it would dissolve a bit quicker with hot. But one interesting point is that the chemical reaction when you put in these things in here actually will heat the water, so you don't want to go too far. I was doing a very big piece and it actually made the water boil, and that's when you get all that fumes that come off the surface of the liquid. It's not very good for your toilet, it's very bad for you, so don't breathe it in. But this here is actually cold and a small piece, so hopefully it won't be too hazardous. Now this isn't like a strong acid or anything, you can touch it, it doesn't hurt or anything. What it does do though is it removes the oils from your fingers, so it means you can't grip very well for a few hours, but you know, it soon comes back. Right, so that's now kind of dissolving. Now I guess you could just keep on putting more and more in until it won't precipitate anymore, but I think this should be enough. There's no great rush for this. Let's leave it like that, pop it in, and let's see what happens. Okay, so now I've zoomed in, and I must say the reaction was going a bit slow, so I've added a second tablespoonful of caustic soda powder in here just to speed things up a bit. Still needs to be fully dissolved yet, but never mind, we're getting there. And if you look carefully, you'll see that the water's starting to cloud over, and also on the surface of the piece it's starting to bubble and fizz. I'm not sure if the camera can pick it up, but it's starting to fizz all the way around it, and that is the chemical reaction happening. So that caustic soda solution is now bleaching out the anodizing from the aluminium. As it does that, it tends to fizz. It also heats up the water, but so far this is still cold because it's only a small piece. Okay, so another 2 minutes have gone by and the water's definitely getting cloudier, getting more gold in it, I guess. That second hit of caustic soda powder has now been gone into solution in the water. That's good. And yeah, it's happening. Sometimes you can just tell because you can scrape it and see if it's coming off. So I'm not quite there yet. Let me just turn it over quickly. Anything happening there? Oh, look at that. Can you see that? So that base was sitting in the caustic soda powder before it, you know, as it dissolved. So it's obviously been in a stronger solution. You can see there where it's coming off. You know, it's almost off now, look. So it's definitely working. Guess we've just got to be patient and wait. Now I could speed things up by adding more and more caustic soda to get a really strong solution, but really there's no need. I'm quite happy to wait. And now we're 10 minutes in and the reaction is well underway. You can see here the goldy red anodizing's leaching out into the solution. So let's look at this now. And yeah, you can see there, the gold's almost off, isn't it? That's actually very soft, I can probably scrape it off. But there's no need for that, we just have to wait. And now it's been in there for about 20 minutes and I think it's pretty much done. Let's just see. Yeah. Now sometimes you get a sort of scum on the outside of the piece, but you can just rub that off, it's not really an issue. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it now. Let me just check. On the inside too, of course. Yeah, that's not really a problem. I'd say this stuff doesn't hurt, but it does make your fingers kind of wrinkly. It takes out all the oils that are in your fingertips, as if you've been in the bath too long. But anyway, it's not really a problem. I won't handle it too much though. So yeah, there you go. One de-anodized clamp. Let's just put it over there and move that out of the way. And we can see how it looks. So there's the de-anodized one, and there's the one that still needs to be cleaned up. Yeah, it's not bad at all. Let's just get this a bit drier. There we go. So how's that? Before and after. Yeah, so now I can either leave that as is, or I can try and polish it up, which wouldn't be too much of a job. Now I would add, of course, that by removing the anodizing, I've not only removed the sort of colourful finish, I've also removed some protection from corrosion. But it's not a really big issue because my bikes don't go out in salt and rain and I keep them nice and clean and polished, so for me it's not an issue. And now here we are with both clamps de-anodized, and yeah, look okay. A bit dull, but I might leave them like that or I might polish them, I'm not sure yet. So luckily these bars just slide in and out, they clamp up, so that means that it's quite easy for me to mark out where the two holes have to be drilled to take the wires for this M unit switches here. So I've got my grips here and I've measured out roughly where they'll be and then marked off where the wire will go through the bar like that, and then I've just got to go 90 degrees, mark it here where the wire will exit the bars, because obviously that will fit in there like that. Roughly speaking, it'll be, hang on, let's get this right, something like that. Don't go too close to the edge of this clamp, because it's obviously a weakness that I'm adding to the bars there with a hole, so no point pushing your luck. Now I have measured how thick this cable is here, and it's about 3mm, so I think I'll drill a 4mm hole in the bars. I will also actually add another set of switches on this bar at a later date, because I want to add indicators to the bike, and right now I've just got this 3-button switch, and actually that does quite a lot, because it does start stop, it does horn obviously, and also the lights. It does lights on off and high beam low beam all with the same switch. Pretty clever stuff, because obviously that works with the M unit. Yeah, so that's progress to date. I won't drill that right now because I've got to take it to the workshop, Jeff's workshop, because he's got a pillar drill which I haven't got at the moment, and I can't go today, so don't have to wait until tomorrow. And I think this video is getting quite long as it is, so we'll continue with this process and more work on the bike in the next episode. So for now, thanks for watching and cheers.